The seasons change. Fall became winter, and it was my 12th Christmas here in Korea. I feel incredibly grateful and privileged, as although I can't personally afford to do it, my parents are willing to fly me out every year if I want. This time to a place I've heard so much about, but I've never been. All the way across the world, to a little place called Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. I was swarmed by taxi drivers upon arrival, without any time and space to think. So I just started walking, not knowing where I was going, but ended up at a little spot away from the airport on the side of the road to catch an Uber. And just like that, after a tiny taste of Mexico, I felt instantly transported away into a completely different type of area called Nuevo Nayarit, with super luxurious hotel resorts everywhere, way different than what I saw earlier. I heard Mexico was cheap, so I made the rookie mistake of going to the first place right outside my hotel, as I was just coming off about 20 hours of travel, and accidentally paid about 3 times the amount I was expecting. I should know better after all the traveling I've done, but some things never seem to change, including my habits of doing just about everything on a whim. I spent the first 3 days alone adjusting to the jet lag, walking around the main area, which was very beautiful, and can definitely be classified as a vacation spot for North Americans. I learned that everything in the area is pretty expensive, but if you eat tacos instead of the other dishes, it seemed to be a bit more reasonable, and wow, some of them were good. My family arrived, and I migrated to an all-inclusive hotel with them, for the first time in my life. To be honest, I would probably never go to a resort like this alone, as I usually spend most of my time outside exploring. But I found out why so many families prefer them. They are the perfect place to spend time with kids, well equipped with events and activities for them to do. We celebrated New Year's in style, and everything felt straight out of a Hollywood movie, almost feeling like some sort of fantasy. It was great to see my family again for the holidays, and then it was back to business in Korea.
하이원 리조트
몇 번째 장소를 선택할까요?
1번.
Some people might wonder what it's like to live across the world from family, but to be honest, I barely feel that way. My family is incredibly supportive of my decisions, and they always have been, even supporting me in my last year of high school in 2006, making my own decision on the first day of classes to tell my teachers that I won't be coming back, all without my parents' permission, to do self-directed homeschooling just so I could pursue my dreams of being a ski filmmaker. My parents definitely went through a lot, but these days we're in a situation where we can still see each other about the same amount of time I'd see them if I lived in Canada, which I'm incredibly lucky and very grateful for. So instead of feeling alone in a dark, secluded parking lot, I feel warmth and comfort, to get a good night's sleep, and wake up with a very necessary and strict ritual. Sometimes I feel like meditating doesn't do anything, and I'm just sitting there wasting my time. But every time I take a break from it, I notice I'm less aware, and I start to feel like I am my thoughts, putting more labels and judgment on things. But that's exactly how things are meant to be. I think sometimes we crave instant feedback or gratification, especially from the way we are conditioned from our phones and the media. I must constantly remind myself every day that my quiet time in the morning is something I just do, not to feel better at any specific moment, but for the big picture, to give some sense of meaning to my life in a world I had a tough time finding meaning before.
과연 조팝들끼리 모여서 도움이 될까?
There's nothing else in this world that creates the feeling that skiing does. Even though objectively it's not the best here in Korea, with only narrow groomed runs, and lots of people crowding the slopes on weekends. But as someone who's been doing it since I was 4, it's one of the most comfortable, liberating, and freeing things I do. Just feeling pure enjoyment, and absolutely loving the contrast between the white snow and the blue sky. To me, one of the most beautiful scenes that nature creates. A lot of people dread the winter because of the cold, gray days. But for me, it's one of my favorite times of the year. And I really have to thank skiing for that. I was on my way to Gangneung, a beautiful city on Korea's east coast with just over 200,000 people, known for its amazing white sandy beaches on the East Sea. I already rang in the New Year in Mexico, but there's a tradition many Koreans take on at the start of every year, which I have still never participated in. So this is the year to try it, despite being a few days late. Luckily there's a free parking lot really close to Gyeongpo Beach, an area with a huge lagoon called Gyeongpo Lake, where the fresh water from the stream mixes in with the salt water from the ocean. The area is very peaceful and relaxing, which draws in a lot of visitors every year to enjoy the beautiful scenery on the East Sea. I've said this before, but it's grand and powerful, making you feel the strength of nature, and how small we are by comparison. To be honest, I still feel like a child. People my age typically work hard at their jobs, moving up the ladder, saving up every month for their future. For me, I also work really hard on this channel, but I live as frugally as possible in my day-to-day life, just so I can go out and explore like this every week or two while I make these videos, or to have good times with friends. And I want to be clear too, as I'm not struggling. One of the reasons I can do this is that I have my family as a safety net who would never let me starve or become homeless. But society has always respected those who are successful, the ones who truly made it themselves and are completely independent, which I can't say I truly am at the moment, as I make just enough to live off of and would rely on my family in an emergency. I used to hate that about myself, but I've started to accept that we're all born with unique situations, some good and some bad. I was very lucky to be given my situation from birth, but that doesn't mean I don't deserve happiness or to feel like I'm enough. Everyone in this world deserves to be happy, and I really hope everyone out there listening today does something that makes them feel good, whether that be going on a walk in a peaceful place, or even just having a cup of tea looking out the window. You're worth it, and you fully deserve it.
Godspeed, we travel
Tons of Koreans make their way to the East Sea to watch the sunrise and bring on the new year, or Sehe in Korean, with a new sun for the year. To look out onto the horizon and think about what will happen this upcoming year. The sunrise represents a spiritual reset, representing renewal and a brighter future. And although I'm not Korean, they are the people that make me feel most at home these days, always goofing around and teasing each other. I swear they know how to have the most fun. But to be honest, I don't really care too much for New Year's resolutions. However, I can't help but think that 2026 will be a good one. I have a few plans in mind which may go through and may not, but that's not what really matters. 2025 definitely had a lot of ups and downs, but it allowed me to look inside at myself deeply, going over each flaw individually, deciding to try and change myself for the better. I'm still a child these days, I don't really know what I'm doing, and I have a ton of room for growth. But I start 2026 following my inner voice, living in the present moment, doing what I believe is good for me and for those around me.
Every step leads away from home. Rolling into the great unknown. Every step leads away from home.
선생님 몇 분이실까요?
안녕하세요. 저 한 명이에요.
한 분이세요? 네.
예. 혹시 그 레인보우 패러다이스는 헬멧 없이 탈 수 있어요? 알겠습니다. 감사합니다.
And that was the start of 2026 as a 36-year-old man in Korea. Like a child again, but not in a bad way. I do hope to make a bit more money on YouTube like I used to in order to be more prepared for emergencies. But I'll keep following my inner voice, making videos I resonate with, hoping there will be others out there that do as well. And if I can't make it work on here, then I might need to find other ways to support myself, to be honest. But that's a part of life. And no matter what happens, I'm ready for the river to take me in whatever direction it goes. I just want to thank you for sticking through in this video that was pretty personal and listening to me ramble about so many things. I truly wish you all a wonderful 2026, hope you're all healthy and happy, and have a wonderful day.